Session of the Southampton Town Board to order on this 5th day of October 2023. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Sunday, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Schneiderman.
I'm here.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Councilman Martell.
Here.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
One more.
Councilman Scavone.
Present.
Thank you.
Just like Washington.
Present.
Carry. All right, so we're all here or present, and the only thing we have on from work session this morning in open session, because we do have some confidential things in executive session, is the review of the draft agenda for October 10th. This would be a 1 p.m. meeting, both in present and via video conferencing. And there are a number of public hearings. We have six in total. First one is to consider enforcement action at 11 Flanders Road in Riverside. Second is to accept a deed of dedication in connection with the subdivision known as the map of Chicken Briar in Eastport. Third is public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 140, Community Preservation Fund, to update administrative procedures for the CPF pilot plan payments. The fourth is public hearing to consider adoption of the annual CPF pilot payment plan 2023-2024 tax year. The fifth one is public hearing to consider enactment of Town Code Section 67A entitled Traffic Violation Bureau Enforcement of Civil Violation of New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, VLT 1174A, hearing before Administrative Law Judge. And the last one is a hearing to consider the historic landmark designation of the structure known as the West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center, located at 76 Main Street, Village of West Hampton Beach. Any questions about the public hearings? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the town board resolutions. I'll read the first, 1025 of 23, authorize supervisor to sign lease with trustees for office space at 240 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. I may want to withdraw this when we get to the town board meeting, or we'll just have to table it again. As we don't have the tax line going into effect next year, but the following year, we don't have a lease with the trustees now over the space, so I don't know currently that there's a lease that's necessary for the space the trustees occupy. So I don't know what the board wants me to do with this, but I could either withdraw it on the floor or make another motion to table. Is there a preference?
I would just withdraw it for now.
Withdraw it until we sort it out?
Yeah.
So we don't have to keep tabling?
Put it back
Yeah.
on if we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think,
It's gonna be-
I can't withdraw it now because it's tabled, but we can withdraw it when we get there. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Town Board Resolution 1106 of 2023, resolution authorizing enforcement action at 11 Flanders Road, Riverside. This will be withdrawn. They have removed the canopies on that gas station on the circle.
Okay.
Town Board Resolution 1136, authorize construction of the Riverside Maritime Park Trail from the Town of Huntington contract with the Land Tech Group Incorporated.
So there's one thing I want to explore on this. I'm happy to move forward with this, but I need to reach out to Assemblyman Thiel. I know we have grant money involved with this, and we have some town funds involved here. Looking at the CPF statute, where you're allowed to enhance access to open space, I don't believe it restricts CPF dollars to only CPF properties. If we're enhancing access to open space on a county property that's also a park, it may actually qualify for CPF funding. So I just need to clarify that. If that's the case, it may change sort of the budgetary line that it comes out of, the GL code. But other than that, if we can fund it with CPF, I would say we should.
Sure.
Rather than tax dollars.
Yeah, the only comment I'd make on that is, I know working with Assemblyman Thiel, we had, at one point, we were looking for places for commercial oyster fishermen to haul their catch, And there was some involvement in the ability to do that on CPF, and he allowed that, but would not allow the same kind of improvements on any private properties that would offer their ability to do that. So
Yeah, that may be
it's questionable.
somewhat different.
Yeah, it may be, I don't know.
Because I was just, that we were, a bunch of us were at the Elliston, I guess Emma Rose Elliston Park. And we had done some trail improvements there, but because that was given to the town, not as a CPF piece, I don't believe we funded it with CPF dollars. There was water quality pieces of it, but not the actual trail improvements. And I was at the Nature Conservancy, has a piece next to it, the Wolf Swamp Preserve, and they did a beautiful job on that, creating trails. And it would be really nice to connect the two parcels together. And, with the same ADA accessible trail system. And if CPF can pay for it, why not? It'd be a great way for people to get out there. When I hiked the Nature Conservancy piece the other day, it was so enjoyable because there was no fear of ticks, really, because you had this wide, they didn't do the asphalt. And I have to say that I like theirs better. They used like a crushed stone on their trails.
So much better.
And it felt more natural. And they had an elevated walkway too over this creek that was also wheelchair accessible. And I encourage anybody to go to that Wolf Swamp Preserve. It's right before the Elliston Park. And check it out because it's really beautiful. But if we can do those kinds of things that allow the public to get out into open spaces without fear of poison ivy, without fear of ticks, I think you'll see a lot more use of the trails if we did this.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like this to go through. If there's definitely a funding source change that needs to happen, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to
afterwards.
Fred just to see if that limitation, we're allowed to use the money to enhance access to open space. That's what the statute says.
Crushed stones.
It doesn't say only on CPF. So, whenever I have a question like this, I go to Assemblyman Thiel, who's sort of the guru on all things CPF.
Well, we do allow pilot payments for all state, county, and other preserved lands, including town and
exactly.
CPF. So
Yeah.
that kind of commensurates with that.
Yeah. and
Portion of the law.
It might be okay. So I'll let you know. All right, so 44422, authorize payment to Troy and Banks Consultant LLC. 44306, authorize supervisor to sign a contract with Brock Awnings LTD for the repair of the awning at Hampton Bays Community Center.
44386, authorize supervisor to sign a contract with Cushman and Wakefield of Long Island Incorporated to provide a preliminary report to be utilized in pending tax tutoria matters of Shinnecock Hills Golf Club.
Town Board Resolution 44347, to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Source Pass Contemporary for installation of network infrastructure enhancements. ID number, Town Board Resolution number 44172, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Source Pass Contemporary for the upgrade of IT network security hardware. 44309, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Source Pass Contemporary LLC for the upgrade of the town's network connectivity.
44327, authorize supervisor to sign a professional services agreement to design a groundwater monitoring plan at Hampton Bays, North Sea, and West Hampton transfer stations with PW Grosser Consulting, Inc.
I'd like to be added to that.
Cindy, you got that? On
Okay.
44327, John would like to co-sponsor.
Yes.
44322, authorize supervisor to sign contract extension with G&M Dej, Inc. for vehicle fuel management system maintenance and installation. 44406, authorize the rental of equipment from the Suffolk County contract for construction equipment and dredging services with H&L Contracting LLC. That's for North Sea Beach Colony Renourishment. 44414, authorize the supervisor to apply for and receive funding from the PSEG LI Electric Vehicle Make Ready Program.
I'd also like to be added to that, please.
Okay.
John, you're next.
Town Board Resolution ID 44326 authorizes supervisor to execute a contract extension with Waste Zero for the supply and distribution of garbage bags.
44425, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Old Dominion Brush Company Incorporated for the purchase of parts to repair the ODB collector equipment for the Highway Department.
Town Board Resolution 44395, authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with Long Island Telecommunications and Electronic Services, Inc. for portable radios at the Hampton Bays Water District.
All right, 44416, authorize the supervisor to sign amended agreements with professional surveying firms for the Fire Island to Montauk Point project.
Town Board Resolution ID 44331, award and authorize supervisor to sign contracts for tie-in life-saving station restoration, rebid, and construction with Construction Consultants, LI Incorporated for general construction, Ronald Webb Builder LLC for HVAC construction, Plumwell Services LLC for plumbing construction, and MRI Industries for electrical construction.
So we are moving forward with the internal reconstruction of the Diana Life Saving Station.
Yes.
That's great. You're up again, Jim.
Oh, sorry. Town Board Resolution ID 44430, award and authorize supervisor to sign an extended agreement for irrigation maintenance and repair with Coastal Commercial Property Management Incorporated.
You got one more?
Town Board Resolution ID 44354, award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Otis Ford for Ford F-250 Super Duty with Western 8-foot.
44429, award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Tower Point Capital LLC for the purpose of design, construction, and management of a wireless communication structure. 44351, declare item surplus and authorize disposal of vehicles. Let's see what we got. To Police Department, Crown Victorious. 44323 is all right. You got that one?
Yeah, recall and amend Resolution 2023-1028, authorizing the supervisor to sign a contract with L.K. McLean Associates, P.C. for professional services related to the installation of a new IA sanitary system at Hot Dog Beach.
What's the change? The contractual language
Yeah,
should have
language.
stated the contract shall commence upon being signed by both parties. And it's, okay. 44423, authorize supervisor, supervisor to authorize payment for boat ramps. Is that a trustee issue?
Yeah, can I be added to that, Sunday?
Yeah.
The work's already completed.
Mm-hmm.
This is for rehabilitation of various boat ramps. The trustees and freeholders in commonality of the town of Southampton will utilize the bond as a source of funding for the repair of all three boat ramps. Okay. All right, 44403, 2023 notice to bidders for West Hampton Community Center.
Hooray.
Let's see what's going on here. Bidders, so this is for the interior work?
Yep,
Wow.
we're there, we're ready, we're going.
And can we, I'm not gonna, I hope maybe you guys will invite me to the, to the ribbon cutting? Even the ground.
Yeah, don't invite me, but invite him.
Invite John too, please. Please, please, please. But what I wanted to say, and I do think it's gotta be a great facility for West Hampton. I wish we had gotten it, John, I wish we had gotten this done while you and I were here. But do not forget that the promise was made to do a memorial outside this building for 9/11 firefighters with a special recognition of Billy Burke, Jim's brother. So that was a commitment I had made, that the seller was willing to lower the price significantly, knowing that it was going to be the site of a memorial to the firefighters. So
He's well aware, has brought up at virtually every meeting, so.
who has?
The owner.
The owner?
Oh, the owner, yeah.
Okay, so let's not forget that. 44403, 2023 notice to bidders for West Hampton Community, oh, I already read that one? Yeah, sorry, 44415, amends 2023 adopted budget for acquisition of a portion of 46 Bell Avenue, Flanders.
I could explain this a little bit
Okay, go
further. This is the property between the Crohan Center and the ambulance building in Flanders Riverside area. And it is property that is currently owned by the Blaze Church. And we actually had discussed this months ago. There's a portion of the property that they are willing to sell us to, so that we can add it on to the parcel that the ambulance corporation has, to make that a little bit larger. They also want to, concurrently, they want to build a church on a different portion of their property, and we are moving forward with a parking agreement with them for shared parking lots and whatnot.
Tell me, John, do you know, this is a portion of the lot?
Mhm.
So we are subdividing the lot, how are we doing it?
It's going to be subdivided. I don't know the exact proportions, but it's taking a portion of the ambulance property and making it wider. They're on a half acre.
About 50 feet, I
So
believe.
we
It's-
gotta
we're
do
gonna
at
be
least a
going- we're
meets and
going-
bounds description of
Yeah,
what we're buying?
right, and it'll probably end up, as Councilman stated, that they are actually trying to build their church up on the roadway, so they're going through the planning process now, so this will all pretty much happen at the same time. I
So we're
think.
dividing this lot into
Right,
two? and-
Right, right, right.
Okay, just want to
There
make
is,
sure that.
there is even some talk about connecting the Crohan Center to this property for access purposes and whatnot, and they're looking to sell a back piece to CPF as well, so, yeah, it is
Okay. Of the church. All right,
Yeah.
then 44407 amends the 23 adopted budget for CPF Capital Project Diana Life Saving Station for CPF Stewardship Program. 44387 amends the 23 budget for various departments. 44427 authorizes additional funds for Sirtelman, Balin, Adler, and Hyman LLP to represent and defend the town as it relates to Rose Hill Road in Watermill, New York. 44324 authorizes additional funds for process services from One World Judicial Services, Inc. 44428 authorizes the town to reimburse NYMER the deductible for bodily injury and property damage claims. Rick, you're next.
Yeah, 44305, resolution of adoption enacting Chapter 67-A entitled Traffic Violation Bureau Enforcement of Civil Violation of New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, Chapter 1174-A, hearing before administrative law judge.
So, yeah, so we have to close the hearing
Right.
first before we can vote on that. 44401 accepts donation of the North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District. I guess you have individuals who is donating here. The colony itself is donating 30,000 to be used toward the project. All right. Tommy John?
I'm still on the administrative law judge thing. I think I'd like more information on that, how that's going to work in the justice court.
Yeah, so we'll have the hearing.
And we'll have the hearing, so
Yeah,
who's
well-
going to be presenting that?
We have the
I
hearing?
believe it's Sean.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it's, right,
I know how it works in the county.
right, right. And we're probably gonna do something substantially similar to the county. That's what we're really looking to do here. It's-
I had budgeted for a position as administrative. That was in this year's budget. I don't know if it's in next year's budget, but there was a stipend for an administrative law judge. We just never did it.
yeah.
I don't know if it's, we called it administrative law judge, but,
Be interested to see how much time they really need. It's gonna depend on how many people, wanna request hearings and.
Would this be one of our judges, or?
No, we don't, it'd have to be somebody who's separate.
well, this would be somebody else, huh?
This would be,
hearings.
right, there's individuals who serve as administrative law judges. They're not necessarily judges, they're not elected judges. That's how the Suffolk County and both Nassau and Suffolk TVBs are set up, to hear similar, the red light camera hearings, they're very similar. The question is, they're not really, this process is not the same as in vehicle traffic law, where you have an opportunity to cross-examination, and judges have flexibility and fines, all that. This is not, the bus patrol is not set up that way,
I'm
So
curious.
this is strictly for the bus
Yeah.
camera program?
Just strictly with the
Just
bus.
for the bus.
Just for the
And the
bus.
judge-
Oh, absolutely, just the bus, that's all
The
this is.
judge either says yes or no.
Right.
They don't
I'm
have the
curious
ability
to
lower
know,
the-
I'm curious
Wow,
about how many
that's-
people actually try to fight them, because it's literally a video of you
Yeah.
with pictures of you before and after, and the arm coming, there's no
Right.
real, I know because my daughter got one.
Well,
No,
the
no.
fight's usually
But-
on a divided highway where it's four
Yeah.
lanes.
Right,
you
right.
know.
No, I know. I think there is a level of unfairness in some locations, I think.
Well, I think there are some questions as to at what point have you broken the law? Is it when the lights start flashing, when the sign is out?
Oh, this is
What if the
when you get
sign-
your video,
what
it's
if the
caused,
sign
you're getting it because
isn't
you
out
are
yet?
blatantly,
Right.
the arm is
Yeah.
out, you pass.
I
It's-
heard a story of a person stopping and the bus kind of rolls up. And
Yeah.
they stopped, and now they're next to
Oh,
the bus.
really?
And they're like,
yeah.
But
Sure.
again,
Yeah.
I would
Well,
want
that's
that
in-
person to
Right.
You know, I hear you can get a
tell
ticket
the
just
story to someone else.
before
Is
that
right?
arm is out, just when the lights start flashing, which isn't really fair because you need a moment to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those kinds of
You
things.
should anticipate it, obviously, but I mean, I expect when we see the people who are contesting are probably on the main roads.
Yeah.
If you're on a side street and you're passing a bus, that's shame on you. You should not do that. That's a very dangerous situation.
So other
But-
vehicle and traffic infractions will be handled.
Oh,
by
yeah, no, this is
justices,
just
and
strictly the bus
strictly-
patrol. Strictly the bus
for
patrol.
the bus camera
Absolutely,
program.
absolutely.
Sponsored by the county.
Right, nothing else. Anything on the VTL and all
Yeah.
that's going to be handled by
Well,
our
there are
judges.
definitely cases where it is literally impossible to know that there's a stop bus or bus stopping, where you're, 4 lanes over in the other
Oh, sure,
direction.
right, absolutely.
Divided highway.
Yeah, I know, technically under the law, you could
You're-
actually
you're-
get somebody for a
You're
divided
focused on
highway.
the traffic in front of you,
Yeah,
not the traffic, 4 lanes over.
yeah. They don't, I believe they don't issue the tickets through this program if you don't stop in a divided highway. That, although, under the statute, you could, but they don't do that. I mean, that's patently unfair. But
Well,
you do have it on 39, which, as we all know, can be very dangerous to stop at any time, so.
Yeah.
I think to Councilwoman McNamara's point, though, it'd be good, and we've discussed this before already, as a board, but I think it would be good to see what the statistics are that
Yeah.
support it.
That's what I was.
That's important, and I
Yeah.
think that'll come out in the.
We'll see what
public
kind of challenges, right, and see who's there. Right.
Because maybe that causes them to change the way that they issue
Yeah,
them, you
and
know?
also over time, it's a declining misdemeanor,
You would hope.
right?
You would
It's a
hope. People would
declining
learn.
offense
Right,
Because
right.
less people do it, they learn.
Right,
and that's the whole
yeah, you would
point
hope
of it.
that's the case. And it obviously, hopefully is going to lead to safer streets and, God forbid, you have an accident with a child, you don't.
I mean, I can't believe like on 39, that anybody would cross
Right, right.
from, one side of the highway to
Yeah.
go to a school bus on
Right.
the other side. I would
No.
assume the school bus
The buses do their routes,
Yeah.
that they're
Buses
driving, that they're
would move
dropping.
back and pick
Right,
up the kids on the
right,
other side.
right. You can never have it
Make
where,
them cross
absolutely.
that.
You would, right.
Yeah.
You couldn't expect anybody to cross, right, a busy road like that, or.
I couldn't.
Well, the Traffic Violation Bureau in the county is quite a moneymaker for the county. Yeah.
It is.
And I know people have tried to fight things there or, plead their case, and
Yeah.
it was just.
It's nearly
just fell on
impossible.
deaf ears. So this is specifically, and
Right.
this is my point, is it's specifically. for the
Specifically
bus
just for the,
Camera program,
for the
which is actually
bus
sponsored
patrol.
by all other vehicle and traffic will be handled by our judges.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, when that red light camera program was initiated at the county, the county was financially strapped and looking for new sources of revenue, even though they never really said it was about revenue. They said it was about public safety. Everybody knew it was about revenue. And, something in the neighborhood of like $30 million in the first year or something like that. For the county, it was a lot of money. It's funny because the county now is in a much stronger financial position. It's getting the internet sales tax in general have increased. Well, I don't see them getting rid of this program.
I know there's been some discussions, right, where every once in a
Every
while.
once in a while, somebody
somebody-
brings up getting
Yeah.
rid of it,
Yeah.
but just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Again, it's a situation where, you know, if you're making a straight on a red or a left on a red, it's very dangerous. Sometimes you're making a right.
So, which one are we up to? I think I'm up to 44401, accepts donation to the, oh, you did read that
did
one?
that.
All right.
Okay.
Good job.
44388, to appoint Lori Raimondo to the Noyak CAC.
Town Board Resolution ID 44318, authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Friends of the Hampton Bays Library Magical Sleigh Ride to be held on December 2nd, 2023.
If I could be added to that one, thank you.
Absolutely. Town Board Resolution 44316, authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Hampton Bays Fire Department Turkey Trot 5K on November 23rd, 2023, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m.
44312, authorized conference attendance to Youth Bureau.
Town Board Resolution ID 44114, historic landmark designation of the structure known as the West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center located at 76 Main Street, Village of West Hampton Beach. And a lot of hard work went into this, and just want to thank the Historic Districts Board and all those involved. It's been a,
So we still have, we're gonna hold the hearing, and then we
Yep.
can do that, and then, of course, it will then make it eligible for something like what we did in Sag Harbor with the cinema, so we'll have to make, some decisions as to funding for this. That will follow. All right, 44397, release of maintenance bond in connection with canal properties in Hampton Bays. 44237, accepts resignation of Linnea Piazza, Senior Office Assistant and Trustees. Linnea, is that it?
Linnea.
Linnea Piazza. 44393, accepts resignation of Sage Ranieri Certain, audiovisual aid in education and government cable. 44394, appoints Kara Cheeseman-Bach to Director of Housing from Civil Service List.
Sunday, could I co-sponsor, please?
me as well.
You can add me too.
All right.
Put us all on there. I didn't know she had a hyphenated last name. It's always been Kara Bach. Cheeseman.
That's her birth name, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, her maiden name,
The maiden name.
Cheeseman?
Chesman.
Chesman.
Chesman?
It's Cheeseman.
No, Chesman.
Cheeseman or Chesman?
She always says Ches.
Oh, really?
That's what, well, maybe it's me. We'll go with cheese right now.
All right, I'm hungry. I'll go with some cheese. All right, 43883, appoints Keith Tuttle to Assistant Water District Superintendent in Hampton Bays Water District.
Like to co-sponsor that, please.
You could add me as well.
44385, appoints Martin Culloden to Town Investigator from Civil Service List. 44349, attendance FBI Basic Police Sniper School. 44421, notice of public hearing regarding the lease of town land for the purposes of design, construction, and management of wireless communication structure. This would be in the Hampton Bays at the commercial marina, commercial fishing dock, on Tuesday, October 24th at 6 PM would be the hearing. 44396, notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 169, flood damage prevention to be consistent with state program changes.
Four 44424, notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code 330-50, 330-51, and 330-109 in connection with the permitting process for agricultural fencing.
What is that?
So this is something actually Katie and I have been working on since the spring. The Ag Advisory Committee hadn't met over the summer, so they finally met Tuesday night, and they had a chance to look at this. It's really to take the permitting of deer fencing on agricultural property and make it an administrative decision by Janice Scherer instead of having it go through the planning board and having them have to get on the planning board schedule and go through that whole process. They've been requesting this for some time. The Ag Advisory Committee actually supported this unanimously at their last meeting, so.
So they want to make fence height higher?
No, that leaves everything the same. They still have to meet the same, requirements of making sure they've tried other means, proving that they have, a loss of of crops. Everything remains the same, except that instead of going through the planning board process, Janice can now make an administrative decision to allow it.
Okay. I mean, we're seeing more and more deer fencing, but you have to.
You have
More and more deer.
As far as it
Yes.
comes to crops, it's become now, it's just a
Yeah, you can't be
need
a-
for farmers to,
You can't be a crop
And
farmer without.
it's
deer
also a
fencing.
change in who the permit administrator is.
Is
To-
Janice,
to
yes.
Jan- Or
I mean,
Janice's
I
position
don't know.
from a resident of the town appointed by the board.
Sometimes, and
Interesting.
maybe this isn't fair, but sometimes the deer fencing does, a lot of ivy will grow up to, and, you lose the view of the farm. And I just don't know if there's any responsibility of the farmer to maintain any kind of view shed. It's just the public loses out then, because it is such a nice vista, and people really enjoy looking at these farm fields, and the ivy tends to grow right up these fences. I mean, maybe the farmers, we can talk about this, but,
Maybe on the development right properties, right? Yeah,
You know.
If we have the.
Well, there's
we have the
something
easement.
else too, that would necessarily fall on the building inspector. Somebody has to go out and look at that in order to opine on its legality. So although it's deferred to the administrator's office, she has to enforce that by having staff to go out and look at these and then report back. So to me, it sounds like it's just gonna become another function of the building department. And
Yeah,
we
as it
should,
should,
just be a little considerate of poor Janice and the lack of staff and so forth, so.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you need to have the deer fences,
Yeah,
no question.
absolutely.
You can't farm anymore. without
Agreed.
it. Very hard. But it would be, I think, a loss.
But I don't think this is just
If we end up not being able to see any of these gorgeous farms, but it's not the farmer's responsibility to maintain the view shed. It's, the programs were to support agriculture. But it just, would be nice, I guess. All right, and then there's one more, resolution, 44434, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with, Alfred G. Camisa, M.A., Tracker Archaeology, Inc., to prepare a Phase 1A archaeological survey for the proposed Riverside Capital Improvement Sewer District.
It's $5,000 and it's kind of required.
Okay?
I just wanted to add, it is in the code and it's not being changed, that it does state the installation of the fencing will be accomplished in a manner to preserve and protect the visual and scenic resources of the town.
There
So
you
it's
go.
in the code,
Right,
and we're not removing that.
that's the installation?
No, that's maintenance,
Oh, yeah?
yes,
So there is a mechanism to say,
yes. It's not being maintained in that manner. Just have to enforce it.
Yeah, it's,
And I'm sure it would come down to, right, Jim, whether it was purchased for,
Right.
scenic.
Yeah, sure, certainly if we have development rights, sometimes we have it as scenic, kind of, isn't in that language, but,
well, this has come up before with farmers that
yeah. You're not buying the,
they often want to put hedgerows in because it breaks the wind and, when they're applying pesticides and to their crops, the wind obviously blows the pesticides and then they have to use more pesticide, whatever. So they've made arguments in the past that they need something to break the wind there.
right, right.
But then you do lose the scenic vista, so it's something I guess can be sorted out with the ag committee.
Can impact
in the
their
future.
soils and stuff too, with the high winds and stuff too.
That's not something that this code is really even addressing. It's not changing it at all. It's
No,
just,
no,
the process of getting a deer fence.
no, this is just.
They are
deer
running a
fencing.
business and,
Yeah.
and we have a
Every
lot
bit
of
they can
deer.
get
And
the
they
help.
just devour the entire crop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know this, we all have lawns
Had
and had lawns.
gardens.
Bushes, gardens, yeah.
What about the rabbits? George, what about the rabbits?
Killer rabbits.
You mock what I just said.
Tell me-
Deer are a
tell me about
major
the
problem
rabbits.
for our agricultural industry,
Huge.
Yeah,
and
no, it's.
so,
Yeah, we have.
going to the
deer
planning board
population.
is expensive.
All right, everybody good with the agenda?
Yep.
All right, Cindy, you're good to publish. All right, so, any updates anybody wants to share? I know. Well,
I'm good.
if everybody's
Yeah, I'm
good.
good, yeah.
There's just something I wanted to say. We got I thought was a really wonderful letter from Chief Kiernan this morning regarding Chief Stranicki's passing. And just to remember that that anniversary's coming up in a few days, and it just really, I consider Steve a good friend of mine. I miss him almost every day, and it was gracious of Chief Kiernan to do that.
Sure.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so for exec, we have personnel contracts, I'll assume confidential legal advice as well. So I will make a motion, it looks like we don't have land acquisition for a change. I'll make a motion to end our work session and go into executive session on those three items.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned for all purposes.